When he marked the one-year anniversary of the COVID-19 pandemic, President Biden named the 4th of July as our target. A target for our country to return to normalcy, a time that Americans could potentially gather with friends and family to celebrate an independence from the virus. It's a goal, he says, is within reach if the country keeps up the fight, maintaining its current level of vaccinations. It's an effort that's getting support from voices outside the political sphere, including country superstar Brad Paisley, who's out with this message. Watch.
We want your cheers. We want you in the upper decks and in the front row. We want you to see us break records and break ground. And when it's safe to come back, we want you on the best part of your seat, the edge of it. So when it's your turn to get the vaccine, be a fan, take the shot.
Let's bring into our conversation Grammy Award-winning country music singer and songwriter Brad Paisley. Thank you for joining us, my friend.
Thanks for having me, Nicole. It's good to see you.
What has this year been like for artists and performers and for you at the top of your industry? You're still without what I would imagine is your favorite thing to do, perform in front of living, breathing humans.
It's a really difficult time. I mean, we used to joke about no matter what happens in the recorded music industry, they can never take away the experience of live concerts from us. And last year changed that expression. So it's been a nightmare for anybody that makes their living with a group of people. And I think it's been an incredible thing to see us within this, what feels like a long time, but really it's a short amount of time to have a light at the end of the tunnel. I'm very, very hopeful.
Yeah. And you're really partnering not just with the public relations campaign, but with the scientists. Talk about your investment in helping people trust the vaccine and trying to encourage them to view it as a way to get back to pre-COVID life.
Well, look, I have some really, really good friends that make their living and are experts in the field of medicine and science, and seeing the data that they have sent me and realizing that we have really what's sort of a once in 100 years opportunity to put something behind us that really could last a lot longer. I feel I feel very passionate about the chance that we have for normalcy again. In talking to them, it's been an amazing thing to watch this rollout and realize that we are headed in the right direction, but we've got to keep going. And anyway, I'm proud that Vanderbilt asked me to do this. I'm proud to stand up and say, listen, I feel very, very good about the opportunity we have medically to beat this thing.
So I know vaccine hesitant people in my life, and they're not this hardcore anti-vax zealots. They're just scared. And your message seems designed to sort of speak to the people that are scared, that group. I don't know if you know anyone in that group, but what is your message to them when you see them face to face? It's an interesting thing because you're fighting against a lot of opposing voices on something like this. But this is the kind of thing where I am so willing to step out on this limb and say, I believe in this. I really do. I really believe that, just knowing the doctors that I know that I trust about what the opportunity that we have. What I would say to people is you've got to sort of look at the worst case scenario if we don't do this, if we don't band together and find a way to sort of convince enough of the population to step up. How long is this going to go on? How many people are going to die? And we've got to get mentally back to being able to gather. I have an entire band and crew that are sitting around and have been waiting for this opportunity. And we have that. And we've got this destination of July 4th in mind, where we sort of celebrate as a city here in Nashville the fact that, hey, we put this behind us, and I want us to be able to do that. And how damaging to that effort
is the current state of our politics on both sides?
Oh, I think that's a big part of it. I mean, but at the same time, I don't want to get weighed down worrying about that aspect of it. All I can do is use the voice that I have to sort of advocate for what I think is right. And it feels right to me when I think about my parents. My mother's very high risk. My dad is in his 70s. The fact that they're fully vaccinated now, they were able to go out to dinner for the first time last month with some friends and sit outside, and they've been getting together with people that they haven't seen in a long time. Their lives are starting to feel normal again. And I think it's important for all of us to get back to where we're able to sort of look back on this at this time in our lives as a learning experience. And we have to have gotten past the politics of it to where we look back and did the right thing.
Well, I mean, to that end, your voice is a really important one. I'm sorry, my son walked in with the chicken while we were talking. I apologize for the background acoustics here. The joys of anchoring from the basement. Brad Paisley.
Right.
Next time you're here, we'll tell everyone how we know each other. How's that for a tease?
Yeah, no, let's not do that, because we would be embarrassed if they knew how we knew each other. So we'll just leave that as a mystery for the internet to solve.
Perfect. Your secret's safe with me. Brad will be headlining Nashville's July 4th celebration with the Nashville Symphony. Thank you for spending time with us today. We're really grateful.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. You should know that you can follow today's top stories and breaking news and catch up on your favorite MSNBC shows all in one place. Download the NBC News app today.